Cause you will like this channel. We play different type of games, and have that fun up in here. Help me hit that 1K on YouTube. Let me supply you the fun factor even more. Let's go.
Get ready for the NBA here on 2K Sports. A Friday night NBA presentation. It'll be the Philadelphia 76ers facing off against Carmelo Anthony and the New York Knicks. And that'll do it from the studio. Let's get you out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports broadcast crew at the arena. I'll see you back here at halftime.
Somebody bring me back the money, please. Hey, I got him.
Carl Hickford. Hi.
Welcome, everyone. This is the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan, ready to bring you all the action along with Clark Kello and Steve Kerr. We've got an Eastern Conference battle ready to get rolling, and this New York crowd wants some love from their Knicks. And this is the first season matchup for them against the 76ers team. Home court advantage played a part in last year's season series. Each team took their home game in a 1-1 split.
And last year in this season series between these two teams, things went pretty much the way they hoped it would. We'll see about this season.
Now a look at Philadelphia's starting lineup. Pairing up in the backcourt, Drew Holiday and Evan Turner. Richardson out there with Young, and it's Bynum at the pivot spot, manning the middle. And for the Knicks, at the 3, 4, and 5, we've got Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, and Tyson Chandler. Jason Kidd is out there with Iman Shumpert. Anthony drives in over Richardson. Shot's good by Anthony. Anthony's got the first points up on the board tonight here for the Knicks. Both teams in the middle of the pack. These games are going to get pretty important down the road when seeds, Clark, start getting clinched.
Well, Kevin, don't be surprised to see one of these teams push the other out of playoff contention. They're right on the bubble right now.
Well, that builds rivalries, doesn't it?
It sure does. Nice job there. He knows how to get that ball in the bucket, doesn't he, guys?
So it's Philadelphia now. 4-point game. They put up a nice win against Detroit the last time out.
They took advantage of an opposing defense that looked completely out of sorts in that game, guys.
Yeah, they didn't come up against much resistance at all. I mean, they had success with pretty much whatever they tried.
Well, and you can't let them get deep position.
Yeah, you got to do your work early here, Steve, and you got to be physical with it. You know, a lot of people thought the Knicks would be a team that might dominate the East last year, and even though they had played well, you could hardly call it domination. There just wasn't enough consistency in their play. Flashes of brilliance, but couldn't be sustained.
Here's Holiday after the made shot from Carmelo Anthony. Young with the ball. Now Stoudemire defender.
and no defender was around him to influence that shot. It didn't hurt them there, but, you know, they can't make that mistake twice.
Here's Richardson. Shot, no good. Now the Knicks take it the other way. So many expectations on the Knicks coming into last year with the addition of Tyson Chandler and so on. Many thought they'd finish in the top 3 in the East, but ended up as the 7th seed, Steve, and that gave them the Miami Heat in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, they were lucky they played in the East, Kevin. They went 28-20 against their conference foes, but the East was really down last year, and I would think that the Knicks would like to do a little better than that this season.
Now here's Turner. That's good. Turner's got his first 2 points.
That's how you exploit that defense. Take the ball right to the basket.
Here in the first, just under 2.5 minutes played so far. Anthony, Richardson covering. Some nice passing by New York here. Lets it fly. And that one's good. Shumpert.
This has been the start that they had hoped for, coming out knocking down 4 of their first 5 shots.
Iman Shumpert last season started off playing at point guard for the Knicks, a position he played at Georgia Tech, but it seems he's better off long-term at the 2 or 3 spots. More of a slasher than he is a playmaker, and an excellent defender to boot.
We're all hoping he comes back from that blown knee he suffered in the playoffs against Miami. Here's Shumpert. Thaddeus Young picking up that last basket. Stoudemire, here we go. The rebound by Turner.
Well, what appeared to be an easy 2 points
I know you ain't talking.
just never materialized.
So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. And Shumpert, as you mentioned, Clark, started off playing point guard. The Knicks concluded that he was better off playing on the wing. Steve, you agree with that assessment?
Oh, no question, Kevin. He's not a natural point guard, but he is a good ball handler. I think you can play him as a combo guard, maybe off the bench, come in for either the point or the 2. But he's a tremendous defensive player, high energy, and an incredible athlete. So, yeah, major asset for his team.
That one drops. He ties it up.
Philadelphia, by virtue of playing a number of games at home early in the season, really started hot last year, but then faded down the Eastern Conference ladder as the season wore on. A part of that was their difficulty in winning games on the road.
And that one's good, Anthony.
That's a defensive let-up right there. I mean, they've got to close down on him quicker when he's in 3-point range.
And Doris Burke spoke with Doug Collins. Doris.
This will be their first encounter with the Knicks this season, and he knows they are going to get a big dose of their front court from the get-go. He said the important thing is that we keep our composure. We know with Melo, Amari, and Chandler, they'll get their points, but we can't let it get in our heads. We just need to keep scoring. Indeed, they will, guys.
Thanks again, Doris. Kidd attacking. And Anthony with the basket on the assist by Kidd. Kidd's got his 3rd assist on the night. You mentioned it, Clark. 76ers road play. They finished 16 and 17 there, which isn't bad, but it kept them down probably at that 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. And Steve, a few more wins, it would have changed a lot for them.
Well, as it was, though, it turned into a pretty good draw because they were actually able to play Chicago in the first round after Rose got injured. They won that round, took Boston to 7. So that 8th seed actually was kind of a charm for them.
They really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin, the offense has basically been running in place.
They got to get going. Now here's Bynum. 20 points for him last game against the Pistons in Detroit.
Boy, he had it going offensively, just living at the line.
You know, that's a problem he has, not being able to knock down that open jumper. It happens far too often.
And Bynum with the block. The 76ers trailed by 5. Holiday, the pass to Turner. Yes, and it's Holiday with the assist that time.
And Doug Collins, the head coach of the Sixers, he was actually the #1 overall pick in the 1973 draft. And had 4 years as an All-Star in his 8 seasons in the league before his career was cut short by injury. Well, for Tyson Chandler, let's check out last season's numbers. 1st in shooting percentage, 9th in rebounding, He's a pretty good defensive player in the paint, finishing in the top 20 in the league in blocks.
And Steve, when you say he had the best field goal percentage in the league, I mean, that's a mouthful, partner. This guy was all about high percentage shots. Shooting percentage, you've heard me say it time and time again, it's a function of shot selection. He did not settle for bad looks.
And a whole new group out on the floor right now for the Knicks. And you mentioned Doug Collins playing there. He's cut short by injuries. But he's also had, Steve, a very good career as a broadcaster. So good, in fact, he was elected into the Hall of Fame.
I think the best color commentator that the NBA has ever seen, to be honest with you, Kevin. I know you worked with him for many years. I've worked with him as well. I've learned so much from him in terms of how to communicate what you're seeing on the floor as a broadcaster. So that's the only bad thing about him coaching, is we don't get to listen to him anymore.
And stolen by Wright. And now they decide to foul intentionally.
I have no idea why he was fouling there.
And even the foul, I mean, you can't be wrapping guys up like that. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. That's a meaningless play.
Catching up on the changes for New York. Novak's checked in, and Carmelo Anthony is subbed in for Ronnie Brewer. And Turner kicks to Ivy. Allen. The feed to Turner. Pass to Brown. 6 to shoot. On its way from Young for 2. And that one's on target from the wing. Young's got his first basket of the night. For the New York Knicks, they won their last contest against the Boston Celtics.
Well, it was a good win. Ball movement, offensive spacing, efficiency. They were just really solid at that end of the floor.
And when they got hot, they were impossible to cool down. That was the case throughout the game.
Now, here is Smith trying to fade back in there, but it's off the mark. 23 seconds left to play in the first quarter. He feeds it to Young. Over Anthony. Young's shot is off.
They are setting the tone here early with their work on the boards.
Yeah, only a moderate advantage here, a slight one, but as the game wears on, it's one they'll definitely look to build on.
Nice shot by Smith. Now Young shoots a fader. No good on that last second attempt there. And that concludes the first quarter of play. It's the Knicks. They're up by 5. Looking at what we've seen from the Knicks so far, what do you guys think?
Go inside and try to establish their offense in the paint area. That's exactly what they've done.
And I think that's exactly where they should continue to attack moving forward, Steve. The 76ers were the 8th seed in the playoffs, and even though they upset the Bulls in the first round, it wasn't really considered a shocker as the Bulls were playing without Derrick Rose.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor. All fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. Setting the floor for the Knicks. Big three, Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, and Tyson Chandler at the 3, 4, and 5. Amon Shumpert is out there with Felton. Tries from 10. Richardson, no luck. But not to take anything away from the 76ers. They earned that win and showed they can make some noise in the playoffs. And you saw the kind of trouble they gave Boston in that second round.
Yeah, that series went 7 games. So, that victory over Chicago was no fluke. The Sixers were a tough out. Great defensive team, quick, young, athletic, and they've got a bright future, guys.
Catching up on the changes for New York. Marcus Camby, he's checked in for Chandler. Brewer comes in for Carmelo Anthony. J.R. Smith's checked in for Shumpert. Jason Kidd is subbed in for Raymond Felton. Free throw, no good for Stoudemire.
Oh, man, he's on the highlight reel every night. And if you're guarding the rim defensively and he's coming at you, look out.
And, Steve, what I like is his offensive rebound. I mean, they say one man's trash is another man's treasure. He epitomizes that. He's found those garbage buckets to be plenty rewarding.
And a chance here to catch up with the fourth member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Yes, Kevin, Jason Kidd and Gary Payton, two future Hall of Fame point guards out of Oakland, California. Gary said he raised Jason like a little brother. They played one-on-one, and Gary said, quote, "I used to send him home crying every now and then. When he got to the league, it was the same thing. As the years went on, he realized he could compete with me. It was fun doing it to him and helping teach him. And of course, he's gone on to have a great career. Kevin, sometimes our greatest rivals are our greatest teachers."
You know, those heated rivalries, part of what makes this game so compelling, Doris. Thanks. And he throws it down with one hand.
You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
The 76ers trailed by 7.
Tremendous athlete is Amari Stoudemire. In his day, probably the best athlete in the league. Strong, quick, just one of those explosive leapers that goes about a foot higher than everybody else.
He almost got to that shot in time, but not quite. You can't touch the ball once it's on the way down.
And the fans not happy at all with that whistle.
And the fans, as you would expect, not allowing their feelings to be kept on mute. They didn't care for that one.
The Knicks leading by 5. You talk about the athleticism for Stoudemire with knee surgeries and age and had the detached retina. He's losing some of that, but adding skill to balance it out. That's been kind of a fun transition to watch for his game.
Yeah, it really has been, Kevin. He got a nice jump shot that he's using more and more. And, you know, the outstanding players, the great players in the history of this league always find ways to continue to be effective even as they age.
And a little under 2.5 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. Ivy kicks to Turner. Just 5 to shoot. The 76ers need to get off a shot. Nick Young's checked in for Terrell Wright. The Knicks leading by 7. Now here's Felton. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. He dishes it to Nova. J.R. Smith on the wing. That's going to be out of bounds. The Knicks will retain possession. Right now, let's bring up the 2K leaderboard and see the teams that really knew how to clog the passing lanes last season. Second, the Knicks.
Boy, they had so many guys with quick feet and quick hands on that team. I mean, they put relentless pressure on the opponent. And as a result, they came up with an awful lot of steals. I mean, this team has been very impressive defensively.
Young up top.
Oh, get it! Oh, watch out now. Well, that is fantastic stuff, guys. I mean, splendid. He's someone with the ability to make a jaw-dropping play every trip down the floor.
Well, that's why folks love to come see him play.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know I do, guys. He's an entertainer, and that's the only way you can describe him.
That was a nice replay, brought to you by Sprite.
Well, one of the big advantages for the Knicks is that you know they'll always have money to spend. This is one of the most lucrative organizations in the entire NBA. They've never been afraid of spending a lot on salary in the past. And even with the new collective bargaining agreement rules, I would expect to see the Knicks well into the luxury tax.
New York calls timeout. Knicks, one of the most storied franchises as well, Steve. You're talking about New York. Even with the Nets coming into town, into Brooklyn, you would think the Knicks and all that great history, Clark, will help them continue to recruit free agents.
Yeah, no question about it. New York is a special place, and it is in the landscape of NBA basketball. It's always going to be a hot destination for free agents. It's a place where guys want to play and want to be, not just for the basketball, but for what New York offers. And that's an advantage for the organization.
The 76ers trailed by 6. dishes to Turner. To the middle. Here's Brown. And the layup is good. Brown's got his first basket.
They continue to barrel their way inside, and when's the defense going to adjust?
Well, I'm asking the same question myself, partner. I mean, that's 8 points out of their last 10 coming inside.
Outside for Felton. This one for three. And again, New York with the triple.
You got to respect him out there. He can hit that shot.
The 76ers have gone 6 of 10 from the floor here in the second quarter. And Holiday, here we go. No good. Felton with some nice D. The Knicks leading by 7. Anthony, the pass to Novak.
Good foul there defensively. Make him earn 2 points from the line.
I agree with you. I mean, no freebies. Don't give anybody an easy opportunity. Make good use of your foul there.
First trip to the free throw line for him tonight.
Well, he was somebody you didn't want to put at the line a year ago. He made 85% of his attempts.
You know, he really did excel at the stripe. I mean, they couldn't have asked for too much more from him when it came to knocking down free throws.
Catching up on the changes for New York. Tyson Chandler, he's checked in for Thomas. Stoudemire comes in for Carmelo Anthony. And it's Amon Shumpert in for J.R. Smith.
Well, you know, the Atlantic Division was really dogfight-like division. I mean, last year and for a while it looked like the 76ers were going to take control of that Atlantic Division, but eventually the Sixers had to settle for third.
Let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burdick. Doris, what do you have?
Kevin, the 76ers are a young, athletic team, but they lack those really elite scorers on their roster. Coach Doug Collins admitted, we're not a great half-court team. As much as I like to work on our offense and try to help us, we're just not a great half-court team. We don't have a great post presence. When we're good is when we can get out into the open floor and up and down in transition. Kevin, after 4 years of being in the top 3 in fast break points, the Sixers fell to 12th last season. They're looking to renew their commitment to scoring in the open floor.
Well, they've certainly got the personnel to get out and run. Thanks. Felton can't get it to go. Back to the Sixers. At one point, they were leading the pack, but then the Celtics and Knicks passed them. Jeremy Lin certainly played a role with the Knicks. They got healthy up front, and things began to change for the 76ers. Still a young team trying to navigate their ways.
Yeah, and they did a decent job within the division. Kevin, finishing 7-6 against their fellow foes in the Atlantic. So an interesting division going forward. Celtics, Knicks, 76ers. You know, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out this season.
Felton against Holiday. Turner. Back to Holiday. 76ers moving the ball around. Shot clock at 6. From deep, Richardson. No good.
And they're struggling a little bit on the glass. They've got to pick up their physical play in the paint.
Yeah, it's about being tougher and more physical, just as you said, Steve. If they can do that better, they got a chance to come back.
Novak outside. It's hauled in by the 76ers. Next up will be a home game matched up against the Pacers. Start a 3-game homestand with that game.
Yeah, some good matchups. And I'll tell you, that Pacers game definitely has caught my eye.
Throwing it down with one hand and making it look easy.
Easy and fun. He just thrives on making the D look silly.
Yep, which is something he does pretty often, Kevin.
The Knicks shooting their third and fourth free throw attempts of the game.
And I know the free throw shooting is an area they focused on improving coming into this season.
And he knocks down the first one. So it's both teams making substitutions here. He hits one, then misses the second attempt from the free throw line. From midcourt, can't get it to go. That'll do it for the first half. Knicks lead by 6. Keep it here for the Sprint Halftime Show with Damon Bruce. We'll see you after the break for the start of the second half.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
And it's a good one going out in New York. Glad to have you with us for our halftime show. An impressive start for the Knicks. They're languishing at 500 here in the early going. They're looking to push into that win column. Carmelo Anthony locked in so far. Shooting nearly 70% so far, a gaudy shooting percentage, the envy of everybody playing tonight. And a resilient 76ers team is staying in it. They'd like to forget that first half. Coach has not been happy with what he's seen out there, and they'll likely come out with major adjustments. Jason Richardson hasn't made an impact so far. His shot isn't falling. He's been ice cold. NBA action just getting started here. Some games coming up a little bit later on tonight. The Nets out in Brooklyn will go up against the Trailblazers. So some good interconference play in that one. A 7:30 Eastern tip time. And another game that's coming up for the Raptors. They'll be up against the Kings out in Sacramento. That's a 7 p.m. tip time, 10 Pacific. And to look now at the rest of the action from around the NBA. It'll be the Cleveland Cavaliers up against the Hawks out in Atlanta. Some Eastern teams doing battle. That gets going 7:30 Eastern. Now let's head back out to the start of the second half. Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke, take it away.
Welcome back to New York City, the bright beacon of the Statue of Liberty, lighting up the harbor.
Melo having a terrific game. He's got 13 points, and from long range, he's got a three-pointer to his credit as well.
Yeah, Clark, he's shown he can hit that shot. I think he could really make it a weapon for himself if he keeps at it.
The 76ers trailed by 6.
Boy, what a disjointed season for New York last year. High expectations with the addition of Tyson Chandler, and you had the rise of Jeremy Lin. But the team was so up and down, and then Mike Woodson took over and actually did a pretty nice job getting the Knicks to the playoffs.
Getting underway in the second half. Here's the 5 for Doug Collins. Pairing up in the backcourt, Drew Holiday and Evan Turner. Bynum is out there with Young, and it's Richardson in at the 3 slot. Young, guarded by Shumpert. Chandler with the steal. And here is Shumpert. The shot misses. Good D by Holiday. And when Woodson took over after Linsanity had died down, it didn't have the same media attention. But, you know, Clark, the results were clearly there. They had some momentum, and they took on Miami in the first round of the playoffs.
Kevin, I thought under Woodson, the team did a nice job rallying and fighting their way into the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. They had a lot of work to do after their bad start, but they found a way to get it done. And credit the players, but also credit Mike Woodson. It's been a cold spell for them coming out of the half, missing their first 3 shots. Tough start.
And the 76ers tack on 2 more. Knicks have gone 0-3 and are still looking for that first bucket here in the second half. Kidd kicks to Chandler. Bynum on it. Fades and shoots. Andrew Bynum grabs the miss. Bynum's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight.
Well, you look at Andrew Bynum, his first All-Star appearance last season, started at center for the West, and it was well-deserved. Become one of the dominant centers in the league at both ends of the floor.
4 on the shot clock. Here's Holiday, and a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. And for Andrew Bynum, when he's played, you know, he's been pretty good. Game changer defensively, very good scoring ability on the low block. I think there's a maturity question there, Clark, but aside from that, the tools are certainly there.
Yeah, he's got major skill and excellent hands. The issue for him has been injury, though. And if he can stay healthy and continue to grow up, he'll be a force for a long time.
Ronnie Brewer's checked in for Iman Shumpert.
There have not been a lot of years where the 76ers have missed out on the playoffs, Kevin. I mean, overall, the franchise has done a really good job of keeping the down years to a minimum and having a shot at the title in a number of those seasons.
Bynum with the block. Out of bounds.